Family law is a relatively new section of the Justice Department that deals in matters of marriage, civil unions, domestic partnerships, child abuse, abduction, the termination of relationships, juvenile adjudication, paternity testing, and paternity fraud. For this presentation, I'm talking about the termination of relationships. The people are taught that family law exists to create a fair environment for families to safely terminate their relationships, separate property, alimony awards, child custody and visitation, and child support. From custody stats from Stats Canada shows the disparity between divorced parents and custody, which displays a clear view of an unfair environment. Depression and suicide, Stats Canada. In 2009, there were 3,890 suicides. This resulted in the suicide rate of 11.5 deaths per 100,000 people. During that year, a total of 2,989 males committed suicide, 17.9 deaths per 100,000, compared to 901 females, or 5.3 deaths per 100,000. Males were 3 times more likely to commit suicide than females. During the 1950s, divorce and suicide rates were fairly stable, but both began to rise during the 1960s. This is because in 1968, Parliament passed the Divorce Act, which established a federal-level divorce law. In the following year, the divorce rate increased by 128%. Suicide rates moved in the same direction. In 1986, the Divorce Act was amended, reducing waiting times from 3 years of separation to 1. This resulted in 1987 having the highest rate of divorce in Canadian history. This increase in divorce was paralleled by an increase in suicide rates. Using vital statistics to explore suicide in Canada has shown that males are far more likely to commit suicide than females. Looking at suicides by age group for both sexes, the highest suicide rates were found in those aged 40 to 59. Suicide deaths by marital status revealed significantly lower rates for married people, and there is a compelling parallel between historical trends for suicide and divorce. PAS, or PAS, is short for Parental Alienation Syndrome. Parental alienation is a disorder that arises primarily in the context of child custody disputes. It involves the systematic vilification by one parent of the other parent and brainwashing of the child, with the intent of alienating the child from the other parent. What happens when children are denied access to both parents? A child who is separated from his or her father for a period of 3 months or longer, while between the ages of 6 months to 5 years old, suffered a 2.5 to 5 times higher risk of conduct disorder, emotional disorders, and hysteria than a child that did not go through the same period of separation. Children have drastically increased suicidal tendencies when they experience the loss of a father. When looking at the profits of divorce, it's easy to see why the government and Justice Canada created the current system. The average divorce lawyer costs $322, and each court filing is $235.40, with an annual divorce number of 70,000 people per year. The percent of mothers awarded full custody is approximately 80%, which then leads to child support and 55% of the time, a spousal support award. With the child support alone, the median monthly fee is $316 per month, with 117,000 children enrolled in MEP. This means that MEP handles $37 million per month in support payments alone. 46% are in the arrears, with a $40 MEP penalty and service fee per month that the debtor is charged equals an additional $1.03 million per month in late fees. The median average of spousal support is $600 per month. 55% of 70,000 is 38,500 people receiving a spousal support award. In total, MEP receives $23 million per month from spousal support. Canada takes these payments and converts the money into tax credits multiple times over to fund other government projects before passing the funds over to the creditor. It's a for-profit business that causes extreme pain. The Divorce Acts will not change for a very simple reason: money. First, you need to understand how a bill becomes a law. I'll explain this very quickly. A Canadian citizen gets an idea, brings the idea to an MP, or the MP has an idea. The MP brings a more detailed description called a bill to the House of Parliament. The bill goes through 3 readings, and if it passes, the bill gets funding and goes to the Lieutenant Governor, who is an agent for the Queen. In regards to family law, it is important to note that the most prevalent occupation in the House of Parliament is a lawyer. How many lawyers do you think want to remove such a prevalent profit cornerstone called the Divorce Act? The grip is so firmly entrenched that it will never change due to the welfare state. It will only get worse. Begging for change isn't working. There are rallies popping up throughout the country all the time. Some are successful in attendance and some are not. But nothing will change unless the people gather together and remove the profit from the Divorce Act.